Hey everybody, this is me, Arthur, and guess how old I am? I think I'm about 3 years old. The picture was taken in 1959, and I was born in 1957. So today's little story is going to be all about who Arthur is. Well, this is who he is at this point, and he is born in 1957 in Sacramento, California, to Betty Mason and Ted Mason. Anyway, when mom got remarried a number of years later, her second husband adopted me. So that's where my Aday comes in. And Aday is actually a Scottish name that is pronounced Aday, which means the son of Adam. No, my daddy wasn't Adam, but I'm still a son of the Adams family. Woo, if you got that. So today we got some cute little pictures. This picture is when I was probably I must have been at least kindergarten, first grade. So what did Arthur do in his life? Well, Arthur was a couple of things. One of the most important things that he was is a guy that liked to find trick photography. Now I'm in a forest right here, and the sunshine is right there on me. It'll look like I'm glowing from the inside out. I love that. So, as I was growing up in Sacramento, I became a chauffeur. And after 10 years of driving for other people, I decided to drive for myself. And this is my limousine here that I bought. $16,000 limousine. 1990 Cadillac Brougham. It was 6 passengers in the rear and a really nice ride. Now here's a couple of pictures of that. I did some advertising, take some a class on advertising, and so this is one of the limousines that I got to drive. It was the first limousine company that I started with, and back in 19 I want to say 86. Now that limo is a 10 passenger. It has 3 couches, a bed, 2 moon roofs, 13 glass bar, 2 televisions, a VCR, and a driver. And that's in my yard in the house that I was living in. And the picture window sees that perfectly. And I really used to love parking it right there. This was part of what I was putting together, little cards of where I could send to friends and stuff. Here's this car is pretty fancy. This is a town car that the first company that I worked for made into a limousine taxi. And so that was kind of an interesting one, because we actually would pick up football players, basketball players, because it had an 84-inch stretch where they could actually put their legs out and not be hitting on each other. Here's a cool picture of me. And I get all dressed up. Here's another one. I'm not so dressed up, but my neighbor wanted to go for a ride, so I took her for a ride. And she brought the bottle with her. Now here's a couple of really sweet pictures of different limos that I like. This one here is a Cadillac. You can't really have a front-wheel drive limousine, so Cadillac makes an all-wheel drive limousine. I thought that was pretty cool. Here's a nice picture that actually shows several limousines in the interior. This here is a Mercedes. This here is a town car. This here is a Cadillac. And this is a Rolls Royce. Isn't that beautiful? I tell you, when I was a chauffeur, I had the most exquisite group of people that would rent because our limousines were so beautiful. Here's the inside of this limo. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, limousines are some of the most unique vehicles that they make today because they're so posh inside. They have all types of fun stuff. One thing I learned is when you have too many people in the limousine, it could be a problem. So here's a nice picture of my limousine. I put moons on my limousine because it just actually stood out more. And on the limousines that have spokes on it, and you have to clean those spokes, they just get dirty again, so they're a waste of your time. So I put these moons on, and it's very, very classy. A lot of people liked it. One of my bosses, or one of my friends who wanted to be my boss, kept saying, "You should put some better limo tires and rims on there." And he said, "That makes it too old looking." And I said, "No, it doesn't make it too old looking. It makes it just perfect." So here's a couple of places I went with groups of limos. This here is an Amway party, and we had limos, and we had really nice cars parked out in front. Well, that was a fun evening. So the name of it was the oh gosh, what was it? The Uncommon Freedom. Uncommon Freedom. As a wealthy person, you can do pretty much anything you want. And hopefully you're in a good way doing it. And here's a wedding that we did. This is 2 or 3, I think it's a 3-car, a 3-limo wedding that we did there. And that was a lot of fun. We were picking up somebody at the airport. I have all these pictures of people, and sometimes I don't even know who they are anymore, which is all right. I'll meet them all in heaven and remember who they are. This gal here, she was such a treat. She was one of the prettiest chauffeurs, I guess it is. Chauffeurs, what would you say chauffeur? We couldn't mean, chauffeur means a male chauffeur, we think, and chauffeur is a female chauffeur, but that doesn't sound like the right word. Anyway, I'll show you the picture of of her with the calendar of cars. That's how popular she was. Calendar of cars. Again, this is an Amway event where there was lots of limos and lots of people. Here's a picture. Can you see that well enough? That's a Mercedes limo at the state capitol. And two ladies were renting the limo, and we had so many guys just like trying to scoop up on those girls. No, they didn't get to scoop up. I was scooping them up. Here's a classy group of limos. Here's a Rolls Royce, town car, a couple really nice ones there. This is part of my advertisement. They actually called me, they used my middle name as Lee, so my name was Limo Lee, and they would put my name next to the limo, so they would know that I was driving a limo when we would take go pick up people at the airport, and that they would know that it was a limo. So this is a limo hotline. This is my business. This is limo hotline. There's no match for it. There's no match for limo hotline. So these are some of the business cards that I collected over the years. There's executive. There's Gold Dust. There's Esquire. Limousine Network. And J. Morse Limousine. This is the second business that I started working for. This was the first business that I started working with. And this actually was pretty good. I enjoyed working for those people. Here's some more business cards. Here's a AAA limo. This is a limo company. California Limo. Morris and Sons. Espresso Limousine. California Limo. And Howard's Limousine. And that one's such a small print I can't see it. But these are some of the limo companies that I used to work for. Actually, I picked up a lot of the cards. Like this is Beverly Hills Limo, Cary Limousine, California. So there's a whole bunch of limousines and all in the Sacramento area, into Vacaville limousines. And now this is one of my dream limos. So this is a nice limo here, and it has is called the Duesenberg front end, and it's actually a kit where you take off the hood of your car, and you put in this new piece and a new rear panel back here. Like this one's got gold-plated rims there. Sweet. You want to drive up in this one? Man, they got it. So, here's a couple of people that I got to drive. This here is Max. Now, he's an Elvis Presley impersonator. And I had to pick him up at the Sacramento airport. And all I had was his first name, Max. And we were told not to ever call for the person who, if they were a star of some sort, we couldn't call for the person. We either had to use a different name or go look for him. I figured this guy, if he was good enough for an Elvis impersonator, there was probably a lot of women around him. And they were. And we went for a ride, and we actually did a fundraiser. Now, this is Ron, and he's an Elvis impersonator also. I got to drive him a couple of times. Now, he doesn't look as good as Max does, but Max was a professional. He actually was found in a drama class, and they wanted to make him into an Elvis Presley on a cruise ship, and he went that for 16 years. Here's a couple of friends of mine that I drove for Christmas one time. That's Father Claus and Mother Claus, and we had a great time. They got dressed up all the time for some event. This is Charlie and this is Sandy. Now this is another gal that Melora. This is a singer. I picked her up and took her for an event. She does real nice singing. And this is a group of guys that we picked up and took them for a ride. Took them to a concert, actually, at the Arco Arena. Oh, this is Lisa Daggs. And I used to drive her to churches, and she would sing, and if we went in her car, she was just another person. But when we drove up in the limousine, she was the star. Here's another pretty picture of her. I really enjoyed working with her. She actually used to... She used to, work at the bars and things like that, sing. She couldn't never get anywhere. And so when she gave her heart to Christ, she got a whole different story going on. When she started going to churches, and she never charged anybody, but it was nice to have extra cash that they would give to her. And sometimes she'd make hundreds of dollars. Sometimes she'd make thousands of dollars. It just depended on how many people were in there. But I liked her a lot. And at one time she thought I was going to ask her to marry me. But all I wanted to do was just get her a nice ring, a friendship ring. Here's another little picture of her. Anyway, I took her to one of my clients' house who was a diamond dealer and let her pick out her own ring. And you know what? She made a comment like, hey, if this is going to be a diamond ring, are we getting married? I didn't want to say anything because I knew she was hot of a guy working with her that she was going to hang out with. But I got to hang out with her for a lot. So now this is April. This one here is April. And she's a singer. And she was really, really fun to hang out with. Oh, all right. So this here is our chauffeur. Isn't that nice? Nice Ferrari that she's up again. And when she drives like that, she makes so much money on tips. It amazes me. But the bosses all said she couldn't drive like that. So she had to get all dressed up real nice. So, here's a football guy, you know, for the funny thing, I can't remember who he is. But it's one of the guys that we took.
Is that Joe?
Huh?
Joe?
Joe Montana! That was oh, Arthur's getting old. So here's a picture of me back in... Well, I was working as a photographer, so I must have been 35, around there. What the time do we have? A couple more minutes? Dang, how time flies. So, while I was chauffeuring, I got married. And this is my second wife. And her family were Italian, and she was just so into cooking and so beautiful. Now here's a picture of our wedding. This is my niece, Sierra. This is a friend of hers. This is Debbie. That's her daughter. This is my sister. This is my second wife and me. A friend of mine and my brother-in-law. Where's my sister? My sister's there. So those are some of the beautiful times that we had together. Here's a nice cake that we had. What a beautiful cake. You know, a half hour just doesn't get not enough to show everything you want sometimes. Oh. Before I became a driver, that's what I lived in. An Alaskan camper. And I always thought that was a fun place to be. My girlfriend, when I first started the limo business, my girlfriend was a gal who was would take a horse and carriage and around Old Sac and down to the fun places, the Capitol, places like that. So this is a house we lived in, the family lived in Eureka back in the 60s. And this is a house in Tule Lake that we lived in back in the 60s. So I guess that's it. How time flies. I worked at a GNC for a while, and these were some of the cupboards that I had to keep clean. And it was really a fun job. I really enjoyed it. And that was in Rockland. And then when I came to Mount Shasta, I worked with a lady that had the Vortex here in town. So that was my first job in Mount Shasta. Here's a girlfriend of mine who I took for a drive in that beautiful Mercedes. There's that beautiful Mercedes. Oh, here's a pickup. Oh, here's Santa Claus. I got to drive Santa Claus. All right, you guys, that's my Christmas present to y'all. I want a limousine. I'm going to get one. Maybe. Well, you never know. I can do a lot of things. You should check out the 52nd birthday of Arthur Aday driving in a 26-foot Hummer limousine, 19 passengers. Fortunately, I only had 10 friends at the time, and I had a blast. It was my 52nd birthday, and I was celebrating life in 2008. All right, everybody, this is Arthur with a new day Telos, brought to you by SiskiyouMediaCouncil.org and Channel 15 MCTV. Have a wonderful day. It's nice and clear outside. No more smoke for the moment.